Good morning and welcome to another edition of the Monday Minute from the Independent Dealer Podcast. Brought to you this week again by Neo. If you are looking to up your game in the buy here, pay here industry, the only way to do it properly is to have a grading system, and Neo is what we use and what I recommend. So this week, we're going to talk about why onboarding new employees the right way matters. Why does it matter? Number one, the reason it matters is it's less stress for the employee and less stress for the employer. And this just goes a long way. If I've got a new employee starting in the morning, I want a process in place that gets them up to speed, that doesn't put stress on me. And honestly, if you put the stress on an employee, they may not stay for the second day. Number two, faster training. And we know that training matters so much in any new job. And if you have a good onboarding plan, instead of it taking you that whole day to get their parts and pieces put together, if you already have it going, you can start training the minute they walk in the door. And that's going to be really big down the road. Number three, all of us have been dealing with this in the past year to 18 months, and that's retention rates. And if you get an employee in the office trained, they're not stressed out, because you have a good onboarding process, the likelihood of them staying is going to be much higher, so higher retention rate. So when we talk about onboarding, we want to think about it in 4 C's, the 4 C's of onboarding. So you can read all kind of great articles about onboarding, but truly it comes down to these 4 things. And every industry deals with this, not just the car business, not just home sales, whatever it is, these are things you got to worry about. The 4 C's. Number one is compliance. We all deal with it. It's a lot in the car business, probably a lot in the mortgage business. So we've got to worry about, what do we have in place? Well, number one, have your paperwork packets given to the employee, ready to go when they hit the ground. Have their passwords already set. Explain to them what you do for compliance. We have a whole red flags manual you have to read through. We would like that done beforehand. We want it signed, ready to go when you get there. So make sure you explain the compliance portion, train the compliance portion, but have them ready to go. The clarification part of onboarding is really important. And the clarification is, hey, you hired them to do this job, but there might be a lot more to do. So make sure you have their job descriptions ready to go, handed to them. Beforehand would be great, but if you're there that morning, go over it with them. Verify they understand every piece of that job description. And have the outline too. Job description plus the outline will really get them on the way and heading in the right direction. Culture. Jeff and I talk about culture so much, and it's so important to every type of business. If you have a poor culture, people aren't going to stay. Your retention rate's going to go down. They're not going to train properly, and it's just not fun to be here. So what we try to do is meet the boss, okay? And I will come in and explain to them, this is how Godwin Motors started. This is why we've been here for 37 years. This is what we do. This is what our culture is like. We expect this from you. You want to be a part of our culture. And that's what we do to get them, into the shallow end of our culture, and hopefully they'll be swimming before we know it. Connection. Connection is probably the number one thing that allows an employee to want to stay. It allows them to stay and be happy. And so the thing here is to assign a buddy. That might seem a little weird, but when you were a kid and you had to go to the bathroom in preschool, you'd probably go with a buddy, so they'd be around. Same type of concept. Assign the buddy, get a connection with the boss as well and their superiors so that everybody feels like they're on the same page. Assign a buddy, make sure they train with them, make sure they stay with them, make sure they have a connection. You do these 4 things, and you understand why onboarding matters, you'll have a higher retention rate, and people will come to work for you more than they ever have before. Thanks for joining us this week.